many choices in internet radio, and the staff and host of LA Talk Live would like to thank you for choosing the internet's hottest destination for the most eclectic sound and invigorating talk. This is LA Talk Live. We are more than just talk.
The Dialogue, the community voice of Southern California's young professional network. Relevant discussions about the thoughts, concerns, opportunities, and challenges faced by today's generational leaders. Real talk, real people. This is The Dialogue. The Dialogue with Starlet Quarles on LA Talk Live and streaming live at www.latalklive.com.
It's like you're looking through a telescope. You see where you're gonna be. Growing, getting better. You're not the person they see.
Hi, welcome once again to The Dialogue. Real talk, real people. I am your host, Kenya Kirkland, the style icon, filling in for Starlet Quarles, and we are streaming live on latalklive.com. And as always, The Dialogue is the voice of our generation. So thank you for joining us on here every Wednesday from 5 to 6:30 p.m., where we like to discuss the topics that are relevant to today's generational leaders. Tonight, we will discuss the state of Black-owned businesses in America. We launched these series, I chose this topic because I came across an amazing stat. I read that on Black-owned businesses in the United States, we increased sales 34.5% between 2007 and 2012, totaling 2.6 million Black firms. More than 95% of those firms, though, do not have employees. Why aren't we employing people? Why aren't we employing people in our communities? But there was an even more scarier stat. These stats are from SBA as well. In 2012, African American firms averaged about $58,000 annually on average, while Hispanic-owned firms generate 2.5 times more. Asian-owned firms about 6 times as much, and non-Hispanic white-owned firms average about 9 times the amount of what we are bringing in our communities and our firms. Well, we're going to talk about it tonight on The Dialogue with our show, The State of Black-Owned Businesses in America. Now, I understand everybody wants to be a girl boss. Everybody wants to be bossy. That's in, right? I don't want to work for anybody. I want to run my own business. Well, that's cool. But should some of us go out of business? If you're only bringing in $58,000 a year, what should you do? I have brought together an amazing panel tonight to discuss the struggle and answer those questions. Do we know when to hold them and know when to fold them, or are there some solutions to drive these businesses over the 6-figure hump and even further into the $1 million numbers, right? We should be driving and operating and owning multi-million-dollar businesses, not on average $58,000, because we're amazing, right? So, yes, and talented. So we'll talk about all of that. So tonight we have Chozanne and Latrice Ben of Ben and Associates. We have Natalie Randall, founder of Black Business Women Rock, and then we have Michael Rayford, board member of the Black Cooperative Investment Fund. They're all here to help me continue our series on the state of Black America, and tonight's conversation, Black businesses, the struggle of Black businesses in America. As always, this is a community conversation, so we definitely want to hear from you today on tonight's topic. So make sure you give us a call. The number is 310-473-3100. Once again, that's 310-473-3100. I will also be taking questions on my Facebook page, facebook.com/Mrs. Kenya Kirkland. Mrs. Kenya K. You can also tweet me at The Style Icon, and we'll take your questions throughout the show. And of course, you can always stay connected to us by joining our mailing list at thedialoguela.com, where you can also find replays and past discussions. Okay, so we're going to jump into a quick commercial break. And when we come back, I will introduce you a little more to our panel and have this conversation about the struggles of African American business owners.
We know there are many choices in internet radio, and the staff and host of LA Talk Live would like to thank you for choosing the internet's hottest destination for the most eclectic sound and invigorating talk. This is LA Talk Live. We are more than just talk.
Hey, this is James Shipp, host of Ballers World Live. Don't forget to download the Ballers World app on iOS, and be sure to follow us on all our social media at Ballers World so you can keep up with all our exciting new features. Ballers World, a global basketball community.
Hey, this is Alexis, host of Ballers World Live. Don't forget to download the Ballers World app on iOS, and be sure to follow us on all our social media at Ballers World so you can keep up with all the exciting new features. Ballers World, a global basketball community.
Join the fun, 3 p.m. Pacific, each and every Friday from Los Angeles today. Purple nights and golden days. Ooh, he's so LA.
What up, LA? It's Mr. Vaughn, inviting you to join me every Friday, 3 p.m. Pacific, for Los Angeles Today.
Coming live and direct from LA Talk Live. Entertainment, sports, special guests, current events, and the hottest and latest in LA.
World belongs to us.
This is where the twist goes down daily. Boss up with us. Boss up with us each and every Friday on LA Talk Live. You can also catch us on iTunes R&B, or check us out live on LATalks.com. Reality radio, handcrafted for your listening and viewing pleasure. This is LA Talks Live, and we're more than just talk.
They getting that work from California.
Interested in advertising your business, product, or service here on The Dialogue? The Dialogue will help you promote your business, increase your traffic, and bring in new clients through innovative and creative marketing packages, including affordable radio ad campaigns for small businesses. Go to www.thedialoguela.com or call 323-475-8729. That's 323-475-8729. 323-475-8729. And now, back to The Dialogue. The Dialogue with Starlet Quarles. Real talk, real people.
Welcome back to The Dialogue, real talk, real people, with your host, Kenya Kirkland, the style icon. As always, this is a community conversation, so make sure you give us a call. And I have to correct that number. It's 323-473-3100. Once again, 323-473-3100. Or you can post your comments on my Facebook page, facebook.com/Mrs. Kenya K. Or tweet me at The Style Icon. That's THEE Style Icon. And we'll try and answer some of your questions on tonight's show. So now let me introduce our guests. We have Chozan Ben with his beautiful wife and partner, Latrice Ben, over the last 35 years. Okay, Chozan. Chozan has set up and operated a successful independent accounting, tax, and business consulting practice, Ben and Associates. Chozan has proven himself to be invaluable in solidifying operational policy and the procedures of small business management. So we're going to dig in tonight about that $58,000 on average that Black-owned businesses are earning in America. And then we have Miss Natalie Randall here of Black Business Women Rock. Be sure to check out Natalie's website. Natalie hosts a huge conference every year, which we are looking forward to coming back again this year, November 17th and 18th at the Torrance Marriott, which has so many resources and just so amazing for Black businesswomen in America, or in Los Angeles for sure. And I hear y'all going on tour soon, so America was right.
Okay.
And then we have Mr. Michael Rayford next to me, who is the business startup guru, I hear.
Say that.
And board member of the Black Cooperative Investment Fund. So welcome to the show. I'm so happy to have you all here.
Thank you very much.
Let's get into this conversation. I want to start with you, Chozan.
Yes.
What was the first thing that came to mind when you read the stat, when you looked at the breakdown? I'm not sure, Richard, if the people have this chart, but if so, it's deep when you look at the breakdown. Black and African American firms, $58,000 on average are the number of the revenue dollars. Compared to Asian American firms, $365,000.
Well, it's no secret that when you talk to the majority of black business owners and just African Americans in general, there is a sense that we are not good at cooperating and working with each other. And therein lies the first problem, okay? We have to get over whatever mentalities that are carried over or that we're holding on to that makes us distrust each other and unwilling to work in an cooperative environment. So that's really the main issue.
Okay, I like that one, but I can't let you go on without us talking about that a little bit.
Right.
What? I mean, one thing I noticed is the communication is part of the reason we don't cooperate so well.
Correct.
What's up with that? Natalie, what do you think as far as black? Well, we can just break it down to black women for a minute. When it comes to doing business with each other, how well do we really communicate what our needs are and what the other person that we need to collaborate or partner with, what his or her needs are?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is commitment. Commitment, trust.
Yeah.
And it really starts within us. Working on yourself and then being committed to someone else. Because if you can't commit to yourself, you're not going to commit to no one else.
Right.
True.
The trust factor. I mean, we have the resources, we have the professionals, we have all of that. But when it's time to step forth to do what you need to do, that trust and a commitment comes about. So my thing is, committing to yourself. Because if you can't commit to me, if I can't commit to me, I'm not going to commit to you.
Michael, where does that come from? Do you think that state goes back to slavery?
Oh,
where does it stem from?
I mean, I think without a doubt, it definitely goes back, 400 or 500 years. It also sort of reflects the current environment. I think we're all taught to be sort of individuals. The state of individualism in this day and age is profound. So we're all taught to sort of get our own, get out, make our money, provide for yourself and your family, and we're not really sort of trained and taught how to cooperate, particularly as a culture. So it definitely goes back a long way, but it's also in the current day just how we're all sort of trained up to go into the workforce, to be ourselves, to get our grades, to do what we need to do, and to make our money. And it's a mindset change that's going to take a long time I think, to undo, but
I agree.
It's definitely a powerful thing.
So I'm happy you said that, because before I go back to the original question, I just want to ask, how do we change that? How do we do better within our communities to work together? I mean, we have to move the needle from an average dollar of $58,000 a year. We have to at least double that. Well, let's say, how do we together push this number to 100,000 at least?
Well, here's what I think. There's a couple of things we need to look at in that number. First off, this survey was taken back in 2012, and so that was the height of the recession. If you guys all recall, we were losing 400,000 jobs a month. We had 400,000 a month in businesses that were going under. People were losing their houses. So,
but why we get hit the worst?
Well, because we were already behind the grid, and so that recession didn't make it any better for us.
Okay,
but I do have some good news, though. It's not all bad or as bad, I think, in 2016, because I'm starting to experience a wake-up process among black business owners.
Absolutely.
In my firm alone, we've had a tremendous uptick in the amount of inquiries that we've received from black business owners asking about how they can be better and more professional at running their business like a business.
So we want to be better. So there's a good sign.
Yes, we really do, because no one wants to be broke. We all know that, right? We all know what that's like, sleeping on floors and all that. We don't want to do that.
Right.
So what we focused on is really trying to reach those people who, like Natalie says, have started within themselves to have some type of awakening, so that all the resources that we bring to bear for you means nothing if you haven't conditioned yourself to be open and receptive to them and made the commitment to yourself that you want to do better.
So then it's part of this, moving this needle forward, part of solving this issue, Michael, is a mindset? And if so, what is it? What's that mindset?
I think it's completely a mindset.
Okay.
And I think we got to go back to the basics. Even during slavery, they had cooperative economics, and that's a lot of what BCIF, the group that I'm on the board of, sort of practices. And that's pooling assets, pooling financial assets, pooling resources together, basically for the common goal of the betterment of everyone. And for us in particular, because we've been oppressed in so many different ways, because we've been in a position of inequality for so long, for us to be the minority and not pool our assets together, it's a fight that's almost impossible to win. So part of the solution is what we're doing right here, having a dialogue.
Yeah.
And really having that awakening and getting people aware of the statistics and what's going on.
Right.
And then, giving them options and solutions to participate.
Right.
And what we're trying to do at BCIF is we really create awareness on economic empowerment and showing people that, the power of the dollar is really how you invoke social change. And that's the mission of BCIF.
Mike is the man. Put it down, boy. Put it down. That's what I'm talking about.
I like that. So so far we're already coming up with some solutions here. We got to cooperate with each other.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
We got to open our minds.
We got to open our minds. Got to have a better mindset, and then awareness being a really good key about just what the issues are. Give me another, and Latrice, if you want to chime in, absolutely. What is another one of the struggles? Why are we so far behind? Because Pacific Islanders, Native American, their businesses are at $149,000 a year on average, and I hate to keep banging at this, but it is shocking and startling that on average we're at 58,000. Because most of us are, we're able to go get a job at a rate higher than $58,000 a year, right?
Correct.
And I'm not saying that you should do that, because obviously we're owning businesses, and we want to own businesses to create wealth in our community, right? And to build legacy.
Right.
So what else can we do better is my question.
Well, for me, being a role model, someone helped me to become a business owner. So just trusting, I didn't trust her at first, but she showed me the way. She held my hand, and she kept holding my hand, and she gave me a direction to go in. And by me following her lead, then I'm here. Black business women rock. You know what I'm saying? So I think sometimes just being that role model, a lot of women are watching me, the way I'm set up, the way the platform is, the foundation.
Right.
And I just push forward because I do want to hold on to my women and say, come on, it's okay. And I think it's a lot of time it's fear. They scared to go.
There it is.
It's okay to go. But I was fearful, but then I overcame that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And once you overcome it, you tap into that power. You can do whatever you want, set your mind to do.
Right.
So yeah.
Trust is a good one too. I was wondering, I know Chosan and I discussed it, when being a tax accountant and handling people's finances. How often do you hear from African American people, I'm not gonna let this black man help me with my money.
Well, black folk. Hey, listen, let me just say that I love and serve God. And so whatever I've experienced over the years didn't change who I was and what my mission was, because I don't believe in letting experiences in life change who you are to the core, but you need to change the circumstances of those experiences so they're no longer negative. So with that being said, when I started out long time ago, I was this young, college-educated Navy veteran that just served in Desert Storm. I got out. The Navy gave me a lot of money to get going because of my service and the program that I got out on. So I focused on my education, and I focused on gaining experience. And I wanted to immediately bring this knowledge to the black community, because if people knew how much money they really leave on the table because they don't understand and know the tax law properly, it would just make you sick to your stomach. And so I wanted to focus on our community, because we are always the most underserved across the board in every other aspect there is, right? And as I'm trying to develop relationships, I got that very thing. I don't know. being so young and I know what they were saying, being so black, and this comes from my own people, I'm not sure you qualified to tell me something because we ain't supposed to know this. I mean, I'm clearly paraphrasing, but that is the message that I got constantly. And it wasn't until, sadly, that I began to get a reputation for my work among other ethnic groups that black people begin to then realize, well, maybe that boy do know what he's talking about, and then over the years, I've grown in all aspects of my clients, and I have a vast amount of African American clients that I've done great work for. Yeah. But it's always that thing that we have to get over that tells us that either we have to get permission from somebody else or we have to see evidence that somebody else says it's okay before we allow ourselves to trust the facts and information that's presented and right in front of us. And to answer your question, Keenan, because this is so important, the lack of knowledge or education in business, in finance, in administration, in compliance, in tax, those 5 things are why the numbers are not only what you're saying or what you're seeing here, but why we fail in our business so miserably. The mortality rate among black-owned business is somewhere around 98% within the first 5 years, if you're lacking those things.
And we are opening businesses at the highest rate, which is deep to me. It's like we are, and not only are we opening them at the highest rate, our young people are opening. We have the youngest group of business startups amongst all ethnicities. And I think that's great. That's awesome. I just really want us to have better resources and be more prepared to succeed and drive businesses that will build wealth in our communities. And I was going to ask just one more question on this trust issue. I was listening to Samuel Blake's pray this morning, and at the end of his prayer, he asked people to sign up to donate to his scholarship fund. And he said, you don't have to worry about nobody throwing the money in the trunk of my car. It's going to the scholarship fund. And, I mean, he got thousands of people on his, on his live streams. And that struck me. And I was wondering, at BCIF, have you experienced that we are fearful to support our own when it comes to donating? We need to not only raise our hands to receive the money, but we got to raise our hands to donate and be donors to these organizations is the biggest part.
Yes, absolutely. And, we haven't necessarily experienced that directly yet. BCI started formally in January. Okay. So for those who want more information, you can go to bcifund.org. There's a lot of information there. But, to answer your question specifically earlier, in terms of sort of major challenges, I think, outside of the perception, which is a major issue in our ability to sort of run business and be educated, it's access to capital that I think is a big, big issue within our community. We're the most underfunded group, as we all sort of expected, and access to viable funding sources is a major, major problem, and a major reason I think why you have that $58,000 stat, and there's a lot of reasons why, but that's a big piece of it, because if you don't have the capital to reinvest in the business and to grow and to get to that next level when times get tough, or even to just expand when times are going well, you just sort of hit that stagnation point and never grow from there. So I think that's a big, big, big part of it.
And what do we need? Do we even know as a community? Do a lot of us know what you need to access capital? We think it's walking in a door and saying, "Can I have some money?" Sometimes, but
no. Now you're in my wheelhouse. Okay, so let me just say this. Access to capital, especially in these days and times, are far easier than you can ever imagine. There are very minimal requirements that companies look for. I have a group of lenders that I work with to handle people from startups to seasoned business. And we fund businesses from as little as $5,000 for need up to $5 million that we've done thus far. So here's what people need to look at. If you have a business, you have to represent your business in a professional manner. You have to present it in a professional manner. So that means you need to have some decent track record of your accounting and financial statements.
Absolutely.
And those are so easy to do once you understand the minimal amount of work and the use of technology. So most people are afraid of all that because they think they have to be an accountant. They don't know what to do. It's going to cost them a lot of money. None of the above is true.
Or
None
we're
of it.
scared to claim all our money.
Right.
What is that?
Right. Well, because we think somebody's going to come take it from us.
Yeah.
That's what that is.
So is it a trick? I want to cut you off for a second.
Sure.
So I feel like, we go, okay, I'm not going to claim all my money so I don't have to pay higher taxes. But that's a trick because when you go for the money, you can't show that you have money.
Okay,
Right. And so this is the catch-22. That's why you need a professional to come in and show you how to get that sweet spot, that balance, okay?
Right.
And so what I tell companies is this. As long as you are willing to follow some really basic instructions that we're able to help you with, and because we don't just come and drop the information on you, we hold your hand through the process because we want to see you get to where you're going, right? Like, I can come tell you and write a book, 50 different ways on what you need to do, but who's going to show you how to do it?
Right.
And
Not too many people.
That's the difference, because as business owners, we
But
don't.
should I know how? If I'm in business, should I have done some due diligence?
Well-
What things should I have done before I even come to you? Let me ask you that. Let me jump
Sure,
to Michael.
sure.
What should I already know before I go to Chosan? Or I shouldn't say what should I already know. What kind of work on my end? What was my responsibility
Great
before
question.
I bring you a financial package?
Part of it is business traction, right? Investors invest in businesses for return. There's the greedy sort of return-based mentality. So if your business doesn't look promising, then your likelihood to get capital is significantly lower.
Correct.
So there is the basic package of your financials, your historicals, and your forecast anywhere from 3 to 5 years. You obviously need a business presentation, an executive summary in some cases, and in some cases a business plan depending upon your industry.
Correct.
But at the end of the day, if your product or your business does not look like it's growing or it's in a growing industry and you have something special, you are in a bad spot in terms of getting funding. So at the end of the day, it will come down to your business's ability to produce a return for that investor and how promising that return looks at the end of the day. So to answer your question specifically, having a business that's growing or well positioned in the market is the best thing you can do in today's market to get capital, on top of knowing which sort of channels to go after that best suit your business.
Okay. All right. I want to go back a little bit because let me ask you, how many of you have business owners in your what generation of business owner are you? Are you the first person in your family to own your own business? Was your grandfather a business owner, or were you taught to be an employee?
Well, for me, my daddy and mama had 11 babies, and my daddy owned a lot of businesses because he, back in the day, there wasn't nobody employing a black man to the level where he can have the kind of money he needs to earn to take care of his family. And my dad always taught us that there are far more ways to make money legally than illegally. So my dad set about to discover, I believe, all those ways. So I think I get that from him because right now we own 4 companies now. We just got a travel agency. So we own 3 established businesses and 1 new one. And so I get that from him. And other than my dad, there really isn't any other siblings or cousins or family members that I can sit here and think about and draw upon that started a business and has done relatively well with it.
Okay.
And I would say on my dad's side, I'm like the 3rd generation.
Okay.
So, but I've seen a lot of entrepreneurs on his side, but I really stepped in it on my own. No one taught me how to be an entrepreneur. I just stepped out there, test the waters, and was able to do my thing.
Awesome. Okay, we have a caller, and then I'll come back to that. Hello. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Brad Johnson. I'm calling from Los Angeles.
Hi, Brad Johnson. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. What's your question?
I own a restaurant here in Los Angeles called Post and Bean.
Yes, I love Post and Bean.
I do as well. I love Post and Bean.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. And I've just been listening to your conversation and, really appreciate the dialogue that's going on here from the importance of financial discipline, in terms of raising capital and having access to capital. And I agree that there are many different sources of capital out there. However, there's good money and there's not as good money. So,
Correct.
You want to be careful out there when you're looking around for, how to fund a particular startup. But I guess my question was more really in the form of a just a kind of an overview. From our point of view, one of the challenges that I continue to see in any independently owned black business, and it's a challenge that I'm reading about and talking to my friends about around the country as we start to see, our neighborhoods gentrify from the Hills to Oakland to Harlem to D.C., and that is a shrinking population of young black professionals in those neighborhoods that so dearly need them.
Right. Absolutely.
So I was just curious if there were any thoughts that the group might have about that subject, because as we look at other ethnicities, and I think of areas like Chinatown and Koreatown and folks that have really done. Have been very successful at keeping their culture unique and their businesses owned and operated by them, yet appealing to, the mass and the general public. If we start to see our communities diluted to the extent that we're not really able to support our businesses and we haven't established them in the way that allows them to then be patronized by the gentrifying community, we're going to see our businesses disappear.
Absolutely.
And so as someone who's on the front line right now watching this whole thing kind of unfold, I'm just curious what the thoughts of the panel might be on that subject. I know it's a broad subject, but I just thought I would toss that out there.
Well, thank you for your question. That's a deep one for me, owning a business in Inglewood on La Brea, in between LA, Inglewood. I feel it heavily because for the young professional women that I target for Shop 1323, they oftentimes prefer to drive to Melrose, Beverly Hills, or wherever to shop until they find me. And the women who are moving into our neighborhoods from other areas, often don't choose to shop with me. So I feel it very heavily being in the area where I am. And it's a shame to me that we are often beat up when we say we don't want the gentrification to happen. It's like, well, why don't you? Right. Well, this is why, because we want to continue to own businesses and live in our communities that we were raised in. So anybody else?
Well, I think I just really have to say thank you, Mr. Bradley, for asking that question, because that is really the heart of the matter that we need to address. And I personally think that's why Black Business Women Rock is so important.
Yeah.
What Natalie does is so important because I am witnessing firsthand the outcome of the networking that's going on amongst the member businesses and services of BBWR. Yeah. And it has absolutely brought more revenue to many businesses that are part of BBWR. Right. I can say that for a fact, and I'm going to give you a quick example because I like backing up what I say with facts whenever I can. I was just with a new client yesterday that was referred to me through BBWR to help her business get to the next step. She's been doing everything by herself.
Right.
I sat with her for an hour, and we put together a plan in less than an hour where that lady she was literally crying when I left. And we found out that both of us, her and my company, are using the web designer through BBWR for our new website.
So the money is circulating.
So the money is circulating and business is happening. And that's why I'm here in support of BBWR so much, because I've seen firsthand how effective Natlin's organization is. And you talked about something earlier, Kenya, that really struck a nerve with me in a positive way. We need to donate to our Black nonprofits.
We have to.
Okay, there's just no way that we can deliver the needs and the services to the people in our community unless we support our Black legitimately established and legal nonprofits, and that thank you. And Natlin has one.
Yes.
In addition to the Black Business Women Network, she has the Black Businesswomen Rock, which is the nonprofit. And so we have some really big plans to reach out and help different groups and people on how they can come.
And we
into
all
this.
do. We have BCIF to support. I
Yes,
mean,
exactly.
It's also a nonprofit.
Yeah,
Yes.
Michael's group. I mean, we should be
Absolutely.
doing it all.
I have a group, A Step to Freedom. And the thing is, to Mr. Johnson's point, if we don't make more than $58,000 on average a year, I mean, if there aren't more of us who are making well over that, we won't be able to live in Ladera and Baldwin Hills and View Park and Inglewood because I would like to move from my condo, y'all. No.
Well, we gonna help you. We gonna help you.
I would like to get up on the hill in View Park. However, you know, if we don't, and that's not just me. That's all of us. There, you know, the young and thriving entrepreneurs, unfortunately, are being pushed out of home ownership in these areas because we haven't found the key to attaining wealth, right? And making, you know, over 6 figures,
right?
In multi-million-dollar businesses. You know, nowadays 6 figures ain't enough.
No, it's not.
Let's be honest.
No, it's not. Yeah, just hitting 6 figures. Yeah.
Okay, so we'll taking a break. We'll be back after the commercial break. Thank you.
I begin to G-York was drug loot. And let's start it like this, son. Rolling with this one and that one. Pulling out gats for fun. But it was just a dream for the teen who was a fiend. Started smoking wools at 16. And running up in gates and doing hits for high stakes. Making my way on fire skates. No question I was speed for cracks and weed. The combination made my eyes bleed. No question I would flow off and try to get the dough off. Sticking up right boys on board. My life got no better. Same damn low sweater. Times is rough and tough like leather. Figured out I went the wrong route. So I got with a sick tight click and went all out. Catching keys from cross seas. Rolling in MPVs. Every week we made 40 G. Yo, brothers, respect mine. I ain't gonna take now. Bow. Move from the gate now. Cash rules everything around me.
We know there are many choices in internet radio, and the staff and host of LA Talk Live would like to thank you for choosing the internet's hottest destination for the most eclectic sound and invigorating talk. This is LA Talk Live. We are more than just talk.
Are you diagnosed with lupus? Do you have friends or family members that are diagnosed with lupus? If so, we have a great solution that may help. Lupavita is a natural multivitamin looking to help with deficiencies seen throughout lupus patients. Lupavita's blend of high-quality ingredients has helped many of its users to improve energy, reduce pain, and clear rashes.
After taking Lupavita for the last 8 weeks, I have experienced a rise in my energy levels and less joint pain in my hands. My rheumatologist has also seen an increase in my vitamin D, B12, and magnesium levels. Lupavita has allowed me to feel the best I have felt since being diagnosed.
Give Lupavita a try today and see if it may help you. It's risk-free and guaranteed up to 60 days. For more information, you can reach us at www.lupavita.com or you can call us at 888-852-2102. Try Lupavita today.
Interested in advertising your business, product, or service here on The Dialogue? The Dialogue will help you promote your business, increase your traffic, and bring in new clients through innovative and creative marketing packages, including affordable radio ad campaigns for small businesses. Go to www.thedialoguela.com or call 323-475-8729. That's 323-475-8729. 323-475-8729. And now, back to The Dialogue. The Dialogue with Starlet Quarles. Real talk, real people.
Thank God it's Friday night, and I just got paid.
Welcome back to The Dialogue, real talk, real people with your girl, Kenya K. And I just have to stop for a minute and thank my girl, Starlet Quarles, my friend and mentor, for asking me to sit in for her today. I am having so much fun and happy to be here with our guest. Chosen Ben, his awesome wife Latrice Spin, Natalie Rando, and Michael Rayford. As always, this is a community conversation, so make sure you give us a call. I want to thank James of Post and Beam, Brad Johnson of Post and Beam.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, Brad, for your question. For any other callers, our number 323-473-3100. Again, that's 323-473-3100. Or you can post questions on my Facebook page, facebook.com/Mrs. Kenya K, or tweet me at the Style Icon, and we'll try to answer all your questions on tonight's show. So coming back, I just want to know, were there any other points that you all wanted to make about gentrification? Anything else? How else is because it's a big deal in LA. We see it happening a great deal in LA. In Inglewood, in the Baldwin Hills area.
Correct.
Home ownership is our wealth.
Yeah.
It plays a big role in us being able to pass down wealth generationally. Right. So,
I was born in 1961. So when I was growing up, my mom didn't know how to be an entrepreneur. She didn't know how to invest her monies and, get a return on it and things like that.
What did she teach you about money?
My mom didn't really teach me about money. You know what I'm saying? She would give it to me and I'd go spend it.
Right.
So she'd give it to me and then tell me how to, so I took it and go spend it, So she couldn't teach me how to invest my money or how to invest in stocks and bonds and things like that. She didn't know how to do it. She was busy working, sending us to school, working, and when we get home, it's time to go to bed, eat, go to bed.
Right.
So by me starting at the phone company at a young age, 18 years old, thank God I have women there. I had women there like in their 20s, 30s, helping me along the way. So that's really
so
where I got
did they
my
really
dynasty.
teach you about having a pension, and they taught you things about insurance? That's another thing the black community we don't never want to talk about.
Right.
You don't want your mama don't want you to have no policy on her so she can pass you down millions because that's just a stigma in the black community. And actually this is how other cultures pass down wealth.
Now you're going to get my wife going because she's a licensed agent. So now you're going to hear from her because y'all in trouble.
Well, go ahead, chime in. What did your parents teach you about wealth, about money, and what are your thoughts on the black community and how we pass it down? Mm-hmm. What are we doing?
Right, you're right, Kenya. Absolutely. Unfortunately, we had a tragedy in our family where we did not have life insurance. We didn't have it. We didn't think it would have it. We didn't think it would happen. We just thought it happened to other people, not us. So we weren't prepared at a tragedy, a drive-by shooting. And so we had to come up, my family had to come up with everything to take care of the burial arrangements. And from there, it really opened our eyes to know that we really need this. And you're right, in other communities and cultures, this is how they do. This is how they pass it down from generation to generation to generation to generation, where their families are secured in what they're passing down. The mortgage is being paid. The lifestyle is still continuing on because they have taken the time to do the planning to involve and bring in all the resources that they need so that in the event that something happens, they are prepared. And unfortunately, as a licensed life insurance agent, I have received such fluff when I'm speaking to people in my community and people of color about the services and about having peace of mind.
Right.
It's really peace of mind because we all have an appointment. We just don't know the date or time.
Right.
Absolutely. We rather sell the house
then have
and
a
that's
policy
the wealth
to maintain it.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. So I want to continue down on this path about what you were taught, or better question, what are you teaching your children about wealth and about entrepreneurship?
Well, I teach my children to live, first of all, within your means, because your income is your greatest wealth building tool if people really understand the concept of leveraging. And that's something that our firm and my wife and I are really adamant about because, God has taken us from very dark places to a whole lot of light. And we want to just share this information and knowledge. I have 2 bachelor's degrees and a master's and a whole lot of practical living experience. And I've learned some things, throughout my lifetime that has served me extremely well. So we have to learn concepts of leveraging, which means that you need to put yourself in a position to use your income to build your credit, to build your net worth, to be able to then have access to money and qualify to own a home. Qualify to get capital.
Absolutely.
You have to go about making the commitment, and I just keep remembering what Natalie said. It's all about the commitment. Again, all this information, all the tools, education concepts, Michael's foundation, Natalie's, and my company won't mean a thing until you make the commitment to wake up and say, starting right now, I want to be better. I want to do better. Right. Okay, and you got 3 people sitting on this panel for sure can help you. And so we have to learn how to leverage the tools and the gifts and the blessings that God put before us to be able to begin to build ourselves up out of this. And one last point, gentrification can only succeed if we allow it. We can't blame anybody else. We can't put it on something else. We have to take responsibility for what's happening in our own neighborhoods and more responsibility for what's not happening in our own lives.
It's true. It's true. I just switch roles a little bit. I take my daughters with me to work, and I give them a job. I'll have my 10-year-old pricing product. My 7-year-old, she'll be 8 tomorrow. Happy birthday, Callie. Like she says.
All right, happy birthday.
She's not listening. I'll let her listen to the replay.
Right.
So my 8-year-old is hanging clothes, and they don't understand that I'm preparing them for something. They don't know that I'm teaching them work ethic. They are learning about social media in a responsible way, not so that they can have fun. In my mind, one of them will take over my social media accounts very soon, right?
Absolutely.
What are we teaching our young people about work ethic? When I've had several young adults come apply for a job with me, and they don't show up prepared. They don't show up wanting with the desire and drive to work like we used to, because our grandfathers would hit that whip. You know how to sweep a floor, right?
Exactly.
You know that you can't tell your boss I'm an hour late or I'm 10 minutes late, right? What are we passing down? Are we the mentors we should be to grow, to pass the legacy down to the next generation, Michael?
I think we try to be.
I'm too nice.
I'm married, going on 18 years. I have 3 beautiful children: a 2-year-old, 13-year-old, and a 16-year-old. So I think.
Yeah, that's a hand clap on that.
Thank you. My personal issues. I think we all have a tendency to give our kids what we didn't have, right? So I didn't grow up with a lot of money. We grew up, fairly poor. I had what we needed in terms of family and things, but you didn't have a lot of money. So you reach a certain point in your life and you want to give that to your kids. So you have to try to balance sort of giving them those things, but also giving them that work ethic and that sort of gratitude of you have to work for things. And I try to teach my boys ownership and building your own as opposed to trying to work for someone else. And that's something that we talk about a lot in our family.
Do either of them have businesses yet?
So it's funny you say that. Our school, it's called the Incubator School. It's a pilot school in LAUSD.
Okay.
Our 8th graders start businesses in the 8th grade.
That's awesome.
So both of my boys have experience in starting companies. My
That's
16-year-old is a fashion
we need more
line.
of that.
We need a lot more.
My 13-year-old, his company is called Comportable, where there's a shared armrest to take to movie theaters and such. So they both have experience start to finish, starting a business, presentations, raising capital. They raise a few $100, and also working with me and my company during the summer. So
that is awesome.
It's pretty cool.
Thank you. We have a caller. Hello. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Caller? Okay. All right. Call back. We want your questions. What else? Chozan, did you want to chime in? No, I'm sorry. Let me go to Natalie really quick because
absolutely.
Kawhi.
My heart.
Oh my God, she
love
is.
that
Me too. She's exceptional. What did you teach her about money, and what did you pour into her that got her where she is today?
Well, I have 2. So a lot of you see Kawhi because Kawhi is on the journey with me with Black Business. They both are, but Kawhi is more involved with me. So at the beginning, I had Kauai at 17. I was only 17 years old when I had her. So it was the family helping me with her.
Absolutely.
But I knew one thing, that I said, if no one else could help me with her, it would be me and God. You
That's
know,
right.
and so I taught at an early age. I said, you know what? I want to make sure she knows how to read and write.
Girl,
Those are the two things. I said, read and write.
Yeah.
So
Right.
back then, she was born in 79. So like in 1984 or 5 or whatever, I had hooked on phonics. I made sure, you know, the old school way, or I would put CDs in so she can listen to it and things like that. But she watched me at the phone company for 30 years. And so at the phone company, being so young, I had older women leading and guiding me along the way. So Kauai watched me
Right.
at
She
the
was
phone
right there.
company throughout that time.
Right.
And so when she was time for the graduate, she was accepted at UC Berkeley. You know, but I instilled in her, like, get your education.
Right.
And then I
Number
let
one.
her find her way. I said, let me back up and let her find her way. And her
Absolutely.
voice. And I let her, I pushed her out there, and she found her way. And that's for both of them.
And
Both
she
of
came
them.
back to you.
Yeah.
Right.
Uh-huh. Right.
A lot
And
of
now
times.
I get my returns from them. I
That's
invest
right.
in both of them.
That's right.
Now I get my returns from both of them.
That's right.
That
Amen.
deserves a
Yeah.
hand
Amen.
clap
I gotta
because,
get a real
know.
live hand clap on that one.
because yeah.
But that's what it's about.
Right.
And a lot of times in our communities, we're afraid to let them go.
Yes.
Believing that they won't come back to us. And they will after when you put that work in
And
early
one thing she
on.
did, she thanked me for that. She
Yeah.
said, thank you, Mom,
Yeah, absolutely.
for letting me go.
I'm waiting for that.
Me
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
Well,
Me too.
I'm dying to chime in because
Go ahead.
my kids have been nothing but a source of pure excitement and fun for me. I'm so proud of them because they watch their father. As Natlin said, her daughters watched her. They watched me own these different companies. They watched me serve my country. And I instilled in them that you have to take on the mentality of being of service to others because that's how you really receive your blessing. And by doing so, you contribute to not only your success, but the success of many people. I have a son right now. He graduated high school last year. He's 18 years old. He immediately went out and got a job, started supporting himself. He bought himself a brand new 2017 Honda Civic all by himself, and he used the information that I gave him about how to use money, how money works, how credit works. He qualified on his own. He didn't need a co-signer.
Okay.
And I was really proud of him because, you know, he's managing his money. He saves, which we don't do.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Right.
all these things I taught them that they watched growing up, that's what he's doing. And my daughter's the same way. She's a single mom, but she's her father's daughter. This girl went to beauty school. She's a seamstress. She graduated and went to dental assistant school. She's a dental tech.
So you got some hustlers.
Yeah, and she used to work for me in my firm doing clerical work. And so, you know, when you ask, what are you teaching your children? Get up off your butt and go to work because
Yes.
you have nobody to take care of you but yourself when it comes down to it.
Absolutely. Let's talk politics.
Yes. Let's do it. Woo, y'all better sit down because we got something funny. Y'all better sit down.
No, Mike. You can't run now.
No, I ain't running. I need
You gotta
people
hang
to
out
know.
with me because I need help on this one.
Yes.
Okay.
Go ahead.
We're in this Trump era.
Yes.
Whether we want it to be or not.
not.
Are there some ways we can find to win,
Yes.
regardless of who's in office? I find that sometimes we hang on to the problem too long. We still mad that Trump is in the office instead of figuring out as small business owners, he's about his money.
Right.
So what is it that he's going to do for us? And let's not worry about, what he's not going to do.
Well, I'm not really watching all of that, because I really don't care what Trump is doing in office. I
'Cause
worry
you
about
God's
what
child.
I'm doing.
You God's
So,
child, huh? He
yeah,
can't
That's the
touch you
secret
anyway.
right there.
So
That's the secret right there.
you know what I'm saying? It's all about me and what I'm going to do. What
For
is
the
my
world.
assignment for the world?
Say that.
And I'm going to say two things, solutions and action. That's it.
That's it.
Solutions and action. What we going to do? So I have a team here that's going to help BBWR so we can come as an organization
Yep.
to help the people.
Safety
Okay.
in
That's
numbers.
it. That's all.
I'm with you. So,
Yeah.
fellas, tell us legislation wise or tax wise. We know he still ain't showed his taxes, so there must be something with the tax part that we need to know.
There is. There is. Yeah, y'all don't have enough time, but I'm going to try.
Okay.
So look, it's really simple. you have to develop the mentality about what you want for your world. And then you need to take the things that are available to you that are on the books for laws now, resources and such, and incorporate that into your world. Because what I've figured out with Donald Trump and his administration is this. He's always been about himself. He's never been about other people. He is the kind of person that is easier for him to lie than face the truth. And so I can't rely or count on anything that he says, whether I perceive it to be good or bad, because he flip-flops worse than a fish out of water. So how could you base anything on someone who does that? So you have to take it upon yourself to continue to focus on what your world requires of you. Because you all have the ability, we all have the ability to make our world what we want it to be. We can choose who we want in it, who we don't want in it. We can choose what we want in it and what we don't. And so I am here to tell people that do not let your courage or your enthusiasm for wanting to succeed be affected by anything you see and hear in the moves by Trump, because until somebody comes and tells me I don't have a country no more than I fought for, I'm going to keep fighting for the world that I want.
I like that. I like that, but I can't pick and choose what's in black and white. You know,
Correct.
he is the president of the free world. He
Right.
is changing laws. It seems like every day to me.
Right.
And I'll be honest, this is where my question, are we prepared enough? Do we read enough? Do we know what's going on in the world enough? Because I live in that bubble that you speak of, but is that the right place to be when you have someone in office who may be making some changes that can help you?
Now, I just want to add one last thing, and then I'm going to get out the way. He hasn't really promulgated any real legislation. Donald Trump has signed executive orders, and executive orders can be overturned very easy, and a lot of his executive orders hasn't had the profound effect on the economy because they lack support. Okay, so he can sign away all he wants on these executive orders, but until Congress and Senate signs on it to make it legislation and law, these are just wishful thinking, just like that bogus health care act they just passed. People don't understand how our government system works to know that Congress, just because they passed that, doesn't make it law. They have to go to the Senate.
Right.
It has to be approved, which they already said it's not going to be. And then it has to go back to the Congress to be ratified. And not one comma, period, or word can be changed. Otherwise, you have to start all over. So we're a long way from that. So what I tell people is that's why education and information is important. If you understand the process and how the government works, then you're not so much taken aback by the sound bites you hear in the media because it doesn't really have the immediate effect on your life. So in the meanwhile, you need to be working on your world in case it does.
Right. Okay. Anything to add, Michael? Is the money going to be flowing since we have a business man, since we got a mogul in office? That's what I was hoping.
The money flowing the other way.
I mean, I think we all would probably agree that Trump is pro-business, whatever that means.
Right.
So as business owners, I think the environment to operate without restrictions, and some of those restrictions that he's sort of getting rid of are to the detriment of the environment and things of that sort. But to be able to operate as a business, I think the path will be a little more open. Tax reform in terms of corporate taxes, I think, are going to be better for businesses over time. I'm more concerned personally about the tone that Trump brings into office and what that does to people's perceptions and I guess the divisive nature of his tone, because that does affect black businesses in terms of our ability to go out and interact with other businesses and just the perception as an African American, because his tone sometimes I think brings out racist feelings,
overtones,
which affects us in a lot of ways,
Yes.
particularly in terms of access to capital. So there's some goods and bads, like every president. But I think, as you said, if we focus on our world, our businesses, our families, what we do, I think we'll come out okay, as we always do.
Great, great. Thank you for staying tuned, everyone. Thank you for joining the conversation. Thank you all for your great points. Sounds like we're going to a commercial break, but this has been an awesome segment so far, and we'll come back with more in just a minute.
School me to the game, now I know my duty. Stay humble, stay low, blow like Hootie. True pimp, nigga, spin no dough on the booty. When you yell, there go Mace, there go your cutie.
We know there are many choices in internet radio, and the staff and hosts of LA Talk Live would like to thank you for choosing the internet's hottest destination for the most eclectic sound and invigorating talk. This is LA Talk Live. We are more than just talk.
Are you diagnosed with lupus? Do you have friends or family members that are diagnosed with lupus? If so, we have a great solution that may help. Lupavita is a natural multivitamin looking to help with deficiencies seen throughout lupus patients. Lupavita's blend of high-quality ingredients has helped many of its users to improve energy, reduce pain, and clear rashes.
After taking Lupavita for the last 8 weeks, I have experienced a rise in my energy levels and less joint pain in my hands. My rheumatologist has also seen an increase in my vitamin D, B12, and magnesium levels. Lupavita has allowed me to feel the best I have felt since being diagnosed.
Give Lupavita a try today and see if it may help you. It's risk-free and guaranteed up to 60 days. For more information, you can reach us at www.lupavita.com, or you can call us at 888-852-2102. Try Lupavita today.
What's up? This is James Ship inviting you to join us every Wednesday at 7 p.m. for Ballers World Live, where we're talking basketball and bullshit. So don't forget, tune in to Ballers World Live every Wednesday at 7 p.m. exclusively on latalklive.com and the America Talk Live Broadcast Network. You can also catch us on Ustream and YouTube, and now live on Facebook, or watch and listen directly at latalklive.com. Reality radio handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we're more than just talk. Hey, this is James Ship, host of Ballers World Live. Don't forget to download the Ballers World app on iOS, and be sure to follow us on all our social media at Ballers World so you can keep up with all our exciting new features. Ballers World, a global basketball community.
Hey, this is Alexis, host of Ballers World Live. Don't forget to download the Ballers World app on iOS, and be sure to follow us on all our social media at Ballers World so you can keep up with all the exciting new features. Ballers World, a global basketball community.
Welcome back to the dialogue. Real talk, real people. It's your girl, Kenya K.
Loving it.
That's what I say on my Facebook live stream, so I was happy to add that in.
I like that. I like that.
Back with my amazing panel. Chozanne and Latrice of Ben & Associates, Natalie Randall of Black Business Women Rock, and Michael Rayford of BCIF. Welcome back, everyone. So we were talking over the commercial break about the Steve Harvey incident where he went to the White House, I think he went to Trump Towers, met with Trump.
Yep.
And when he came out, I mean, black folks beat up on my boy. Like his feelings were so amazingly hurt.
Yeah.
And what are your thoughts? It's a little bit of an old topic, but I bring it up because I feel like we should make alliances. We should know where the help is, where the breaks are going to be. How do we not go to the table? It wasn't like, he met with them before he was already president-elect. So at that point, it's time to, sometimes we miss things. We jump on the bandwagon late. But he was getting to it at the beginning. He was, meeting with Trump to figure out what do we need as a community? Chozanne, what did you think about it?
Well, so here's my thoughts. First of all, you got to remember, Steve Harvey worked for Donald Trump when he had the beauty pageants. Remember, he was a host, and Donald Trump owned those. So they had a relationship prior to that, okay? Now, I personally respect Steve Harvey for definitely did. In fact, he had that big flub of where he made the wrong announcement for the winner.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that
Yeah, okay.
that was one of the patents that he still owned at that time because he had to divest himself once he became president. Then he couldn't, have that. But what I think is this: if we had somebody, in my opinion, who was sane, and I'm talking about Donald Trump, not Steve Harvey, but who was sane, who were honest, who was trustworthy, kind of like Barack Obama, okay, then it'd be great for us to be able to have a seat at the table and be able to have dialogue. But how can you really trust what he says when he gives us so many examples of everything he says is opposite of what he does? Because
well, at that point, did we know that of his presidency? I mean, we might have known that of as him as a person in business, but I'm not sure we knew that as a man who just won, the president.
But how can his character and his personality change or be transcended just by being
Steve.
president?
I would give him. I say give a man a chance.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, obviously there's a big part of the population that's angry that he won, but I think now that he is president, he is, the leader of the free world.
Gotta hold him accountable.
We'll hold him accountable, and as you said, if he makes promises that he does not keep, then we can go back and reprimand and sort of go back to the table and ask why and really sort of be that sort of angry group that didn't get what we were promised. But I do think as president, we at least have to have dialogue.
Absolutely.
Positive dialogue, make sure we represent the things that we need as a community, as African Americans, as entrepreneurs, as small business people. And if he can deliver on some of those things, great. If he can't, we hold him accountable and we keep moving forward.
Fact.
Thank you. We have a caller.
Okay.
What's your name?
Hi.
And where are you calling from?
Hi, Kenya. It's Reverend Deborah Mann. You guys are doing an
Hi.
awesome job.
Hi, Reverend Deb.
I went to school with her.
Hi. Hey, Richard.
Everybody loves Reverend Deborah Mann.
He's waving hi to you.
Yeah.
I have a question, and Kenya and I briefly talked about this as we were preparing for the show. For me, I think one, being an entrepreneur for over 25 years, being a real estate broker and running a nonprofit and also being an assistant pastor of a church, I think that many times we as African-American business owners lack the ability of capacity building.
Right.
I know that
Beautifully stated.
Definitely.
That you have talked briefly about gentrification, and actually it's really a great thing. And my question is, why do most black business owners struggle with a great fear of their business being successful based on who they think will come in to purchase their products? The second part of my question is, why don't we, before we open the business, begin to find out what our particular areas need and make sure that we can provide that before we bring our own ideas into the community and our business are not successful?
I think it's a lack of finances. Sometimes we don't have the marketing dollars to reach those people. I don't think that you said we don't know, or we have a fear of who we think might come in to our areas.
Right.
And sometimes doing research costs you.
Yeah.
Sometimes you do a survey. For me personally, I surveyed the area that I knew I was going to open in, and I said, who is here and what does she need, right? So that was easy, but the hard part is really reaching her, even if she is 2 steps away. Sometimes it takes a few dollars, whether it's mailers or whether it's social media or whatever the case is, or if it's support, a person that can say what that person needs to hear to get them in the door.
Right.
Right.
A lot of times
that's where the capacity building has
comes
to come
from.
in. And the only reason why I'm bringing that point is because I'm an African American woman, and I do business with Jewish, Hispanics, whites, blacks, every culture. And I have always been successful because I never really focused on not meeting the needs of just my ethnic group. But when we run a business, you have to think about it. Hispanics are bringing grocery stores into our neighborhoods.
Right.
And now when you go into a Superior Market, you see just as many black people in there as you see white people.
Right.
So they're looking at the cost effect, what they have to offer. You understand what I'm saying? So
Absolutely.
I think that sometimes for black businesses, it's our ability to step out of the box and learn how to capacity build. Making $58,000 a month on your business is not going to allow you to build the kind of business that you really need because
Right.
you're only focusing on a particular style of people.
Absolutely.
The reason why whites and Asians are more successful is because they are just community-minded ethnic group people. They're only going to do business with each other. That's not the case with us.
Correct.
So you're saying black business owners should stop only marketing to black people because that's just not what we do anyway.
Hello.
And money is green, so it doesn't matter where it comes from. Money is
You're
green.
right. That's a good point,
Yes.
Reverend Mans. I didn't think about that. Maybe we're not making more money because we're so fixed on serving black people instead of serving people.
Right.
Right.
And that's it.
I
Bottom
love
line.
y'all.
We love you. We love you.
Deborah Mans, before you go.
I got to get back to listening to y'all because I have to put y'all on pause.
Deborah Mans, Reverend Deborah Mans.
Yes.
This is Latrice
Yes.
Petway. I've known you most of my life.
Oh,
I knew that was coming.
From Hostler to Linwood. It's good to see you, Reverend. And I love the work that you're doing.
Where did I know that name from? Good to see you.
She had to throw that maid name at you, Rev. She had to throw that maid
I'll be
name.
coming by her store too. And Michael, I am just excited for you. You keep it up, man.
Oh,
y'all
thank you.
millennials is out of sight.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Deborah.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
That was a great point, and it helped me transition. Why do we need a Shop Black campaign? Shop Black On. That's a campaign that's trending all over social media,
Right.
especially during the Shop Small week. We also have Shop Black On.
Right.
And instead of Black Friday, we say Shop Black On. Instead of going out to the major box, big box retailers, we have to have a full-on marketing strategy within our own culture to get each other to shop black. Why?
Well, I think instinctively,
I guess Deborah just answered it, kind of. But
well, I think
let's talk about it a little
I think instinctively, we want to see our people do better across the board. So if we have a Shop Black campaign, that's telling everybody to find a black business and give them your business, because instinctively we want to see our culture lifted up by commerce. Okay. But as I mentioned, when I first started on my journey in business, I didn't have black clients. I didn't. And like this white man told me from the South, he said, son, you just saved me $10,000. I don't care if you was a purple polka dotted man from Mars. You got my business for life. Because money is green, right?
Yeah.
And so that $10,000 that I kept in his family and in his pocket that tax year benefited him greatly. And so, I, like anybody, want to see black businesses do well, but I'm not about to turn down any client or any customer or give them or give any other cultural group any less of me and the services that I offer.
And I 1,000% agree with that.
Yeah. I mean, this was a tricky question, though, because I think part of the reason it starts with marketing to African Americans is you want that initial support system to get out of the gate. Because business, first and foremost, is so hard. And if you don't have that initial base to help get you off the ground, then your chances of survival are slim or next to none. So I think when we start businesses, we look to get support from the community because we are black, and a lot of the other cultures do the same thing. They support
Absolutely.
each other. The money in their community cycle so many more times, and what that allows them to do is sort of trickle up the chain. So when you own and support the businesses that are around you, you're able to now sort of dictate the political scene. So you now have the people and the businesses that can fund campaigns, which put people in office to make sure your agenda is taken care of as a community. And then once you do that, Now you sort of go up the chain a bit, and I think Dr. Claude Anderson, one of the black activists, said this best. It's a 3-level house. Now you go up to the judicial system, and now the politicians can then control who goes into sort of the judicial positions, and then from
Correct.
there you can also control your education. So I think part of it is just empowerment at the community level for us as people, and then being able to have the resources to fund our own businesses, support our own businesses, and not turn down money from any culture ever,
Right.
but have a strong enough network amongst ourselves like the other cultures do, cycling money in our communities and having that network that allows us to prosper and do better as a collective. And I think that's a big part of why I think entrepreneurs come out and want that initial support from black, because we are black. So we want that validation.
And that's why I said instinctively,
yes,
that's what we want.
absolutely.
And the opposite hasn't worked for us.
Right.
I mean, we see what, years of not cooperating with each other and not shopping and supporting each other has done to us. So that is the proof that we need to work together. So that we can build wealth in our communities and still work with people outside of our community.
Right. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes, well needed.
And that's why I really feel strongly about Black Business Women Rock, not just in terms of the women, but just as a culture with the men too, the entire community. This is how we can begin to come together and leverage each other for those different services and professional services that we do need. And you're right, those other cultures, they have something that is just amazing. They have a unity, which is what we do lack in our communities. We have to find some way to connect, come together, be there for each other, support each other, rather than look down upon each other. Because sometimes if we're walking down the street, we'll look up and down and won't say anything. There's nothing wrong with a simple greeting. Hey, sister. Hey, brother.
Right.
How you doing today?
Hello.
And we need to bring that back because we need to rise above this, and we can.
Right.
Yeah.
And we can.
And for me, I want to be that avenue for our people. That's
you
it. I
have
want to
been.
be the avenue for our people and let them know there is hope.
Right.
And let me be a role. Watch me, because I'm going to go through the valleys and all that for you. And then when you're ready to give me your hand, I'm going to grab your hand and pull you with me.
Right.
So I'm not prejudiced. I'm not none of that.
Right.
I serve people.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I know my people need the help, and I'm going to be here for them.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
There it is.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Whose responsibility, is empowering our communities? We've all just said it. It starts with us to get out
Absolutely,
and help. And I want to know from each of you personally, what is your charge? What do you give back to the community? Do you have a nonprofit arm where you serve people, or is it your thing? Because I love what Latrice said. Sometimes giving back is just looking at a sister or a brother and saying hello.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Being positive.
Right.
Sometimes it's just a pat on the back. But do you have a service arm?
Yes. I work very closely with Black Business Women Rock. I believe in their mission. I believe in their purpose. And so I've dedicated myself to be a servant leader with that organization. But in addition to that, Being an Associates does a lot to help small businesses. I'm fortunate to be able to have contracts with very large companies. In fact, I just got one underway yesterday. So what that does is it allows me to be really available at virtually no or low cost for a lot of small businesses to bring the level of what I call my Wall Street knowledge to the hood. And I do that both for personal finance as well as professional growth, because I don't make it about the money, because God blessed me a long time ago to have multiple streams of income. And so when I talk to businesses, it's not about how much I can make, it's how much I can help you make and how many people we can help your business serve.
Right.
And so I'm all about providing the resources at a very reasonable cost or at no cost at all, because I want to see our businesses succeed. And in order to do that, I have to help people get past their fears. I have to educate them. I have to enlighten them with information that they're not working with, which is why they're behind the curve.
Yeah.
And so working with Natalie's organization allows me to have exposure to a lot of different people and a lot of different businesses where I can share this knowledge, where I can give this information and give of myself. And the results and the feedback that I'm seeing lets me know that I'm doing the right thing and that it truly is God blessed.
Good job.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Madeline, what is the BBWR nonprofit? How is it going to be different from BBWR? Is it the educational piece that?
Yeah, so with the nonprofit, so I have the Black Businesswomen Rock nonprofit, and then I have the BBWR network.
Got you.
And so with Chozan, he's teaching me how to leverage both. So with the nonprofit, we'll be working with the for-profit hand in hand. You know what I'm saying? But I still need help with the nonprofit, donations and sponsorships and things like that to get this organization where it needs to be. So that's what I'm offering. We have sources, we have services to help our people to start, grow, or expand your business.
You
It's
do
all
classes for women as well.
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, we have the
Workshops.
workshops.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. A lot of that.
So we have the online business directory. We have the master classes.
Okay.
We have all of that. So, yeah.
Michael?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's one of the reasons why I get so excited about BCIF is, it's a solution to a lot of these problems that we're talking about in terms of access to capital. BCIF, as I said earlier, sort of incorporates the traditional cooperative economics model, whereby we're trying to provide microloans to small businesses. And this year we're trying to raise $500,000. And with that $500,000, we're trying to distribute anywhere from 24 to 36 microloans in the range of $5,000 per loan up to $20,000 per loan. So, those types of things to me are directly correlated to fixing a lot of these issues that we're talking about in terms of Black businesses growing and getting beyond that 58,000 and creating a network. And another thing that
Creating
BCIF,
jobs.
creating jobs. And
yeah.
part of the network is going to be nurturing startups and small businesses and individuals as well, and giving them access to people and resources beyond capital that they all need to really prosper and grow. So if anyone out there is listening, go to bcifund.org. We're taking donations right now. We're asking for $1,000 over a year, which if you break it down on a monthly basis is $83.33, which is, as Robert Lewis would say, the CEO, it's dinner and a movie every month. That cooperative model works. We have to support our businesses and each other and the organizations that are supporting this infrastructure for us to grow as business owners,
right.
And our children and generations behind us. So I just think it's super important to support all of us up here, and any business that you know of that needs support when you can, give when
Give
you
it
can,
to
what
them.
you can,
Yeah.
time, money, resources, all those things.
Yeah.
Because it's my stand that it's our job to change the world.
It is.
We're the
It
servant
is.
leaders.
We are our brother's keeper. We are servant leaders.
We are. I do a lot of work with Skid Row. I do a lot of work with homeless men and women. It's just a part of my business. And I've heard people say, add a service piece for marketing purposes.
Right.
Right.
And it is smart. It works, but the work is needed.
It is.
Right.
People need us. And,
Can I share something real quick?
Please.
So I am so inspired by Michael because my partners and I on the capital lending side, we just got approved for our own fund.
Okay.
So the three of us are going to be running a $500 million fund.
That's
And we're going to have that up and ready to lend in anywhere from 45 to 60 days as we sit here now. So that means that by me being one of the owners of the company, of the LLC that's going to manage this fund and on the board, I get to have direct input on the businesses that I bring to the table. And so our plan is to go out and get them ready so that my other two partners will have no problem saying yes, and they won't judge them on anything else other than what we present in front of them based on the facts of where this business is, how it's serving the community, and where we think it can go if we gave it the help that it needs. And so this is what, as Black people, we need to do. We need to stop acting like we can't run our own funds. We can't be in charge of nonprofits. We can't run companies. It's all about wanting to get the education and the knowledge and then share it.
Are we scared to accept money? You know?
I think so.
Oh, yeah.
I can personally tell
yes.
you, I've had people tell me, oh, I don't know. I don't want that much money. I don't know what to do.
Right. My first thought was, oh, would I be able to pay it back?
Right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest with you. That was my first.
Lord.
That was my first thought.
I've never had that problem. So we manage a portfolio. We manage a portfolio of companies. We've raised $60 million in debt and equity over the last 18 years. I've never had a problem taking money. For me, it's always an issue deploying it and making sure that your investors get a return.
Right.
But I definitely think some people are scared to take capital.
Yeah.
'Cause it's a commitment.
And
It's a
what can you
commitment.
say to them? Okay, go ahead, Latrice.
Excuse me. I think that the part of the issue is it becomes a burden when you have the funds when you don't know what you're going to do with it.
Yep.
But if there's a business plan,
That's why she's my wife. That's why she's my wife.
if there's a business plan in place to grow and enhance and then generate revenue,
Yes.
once those funds are in place, then we know where to allocate those funds to do just what it was intended to do.
Come on, girl.
Business plan
Yes.
and guts.
Yes.
Yes.
Business plan and guts.
And structure. And structure.
Yeah.
Because you
Okay.
need the structure. You need to know where it's going to go. You kind of need a handheld hand-holding you to enhance that business to be successful and not close up in 5 years.
And that's what we do.
Right.
We handle. I've seen so many businesses get money and go out of business because they got money.
Definitely.
I see it all the time because
All the
they
time.
don't have a mentor to walk them through the
Yes.
plan. If you never had money before, how you gonna know what to do with money when you get it?
And here's the thing, I don't want to run out of LA. I like being here.
I like LA too.
You gotta be able to stay where you are when you
Right.
get the money. So
Right.
those are all great
Right.
points. So it sounds like we're going to a commercial break. Thank you. Oh, we're done. Oh my God, it was juicy.
No. Go back, Michael.
Go ahead. That was fun. I had so much fun. I thought we were having a brief break. We are wrapping
I told you
up.
we ain't gonna have no problem filling content.
Absolutely. Well, I want to.
it?
That's it. I want to give you guys each another chance to tell people where they can find you. What social media handles, what website would you like them to go to if they got to get a hold of you? Let's start with Mike.
You can go to www.bcifund.org to find out more about what we're trying to do in terms of our micro lending to African American owned businesses, and just all the information you need as a donor and as a small business to submit an application for one of our micro loans.
Awesome.
And
Natalie?
for me, you can go to www.blackbusinesswomenrock.com. Find all the information there. Also, Twitter, BBWR Network, Instagram, BBWR Network, and my personal page now.
My personal.
Now Natalie's fine, y'all. So y'all guys out there, Natalie's pretty fine and she's smart. So that personal page might be helpful, but you got to go through me first. Okay. So you can find us at www.benassociates.com. But we're under construction because our growth has really been really great. So we're reconstructing the site, but please still go there because you can leave your email address with us. And if you need help now, we can give you that help. But I want to say this. If you are a black business owner, and particularly a woman, you want to register through BBWR for our services because we are giving huge discounts to those members who register with BBWR and then want to give us a call because we're working in conjunction with Natalie and her nonprofit group. So that's how you can find us.
Awesome. And I would personally like to invite all of you and all of our listeners out to Shop 1323, located at 1323 North La Brea. That's on 64th Place, right in Inglewood. Come by. Yes, what I do is I style entrepreneurial women to walk in their purpose. Don't worry about looking good. Let me do that part. You rock out that purpose God put in you. So we have Champagne Fridays every Friday from 6 to 10 p.m. Not 2 a.m. I won't be there. But thank you again for joining us on the dialogue right here, latalklive.com.
Thank you for tuning into LA Talk Live and the Talk Live Broadcast Network, original reality radio, handcrafted for your listening and viewing pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk. Stay tuned.
Thank you, Richard.